Page 23. Love continued. The young child suffering from dyslexia is treated rather harshly by his father, and his mother reluctantly joins her husband in sending him to a boarding school. In school, he is abused and humiliated by the teachers and the students. This treatment has such a negative impact on the mind of the child that he goes into depression. However, a young teacher who had suffered from a similar problem in his own youth realizes the cause of depression and gives him special coaching. He recognizes the hidden potential of this child in painting and encourages him to pursue his interests further. Ultimately, the child is a winner in a painting competition in the presence of hundreds of students. As is seen in the case of the villagers destroying the weeds through words, our words and attitude go much further in their effect than we can estimate. But the converse is also true, as seen in the example of the loving teacher. The therapy of love, care, understanding, and encouragement will reduce the negative impact on a person and lift him to amazing heights. Love will change the world for the best. Page 24. Infinite capacity. A famous dancer was to perform, but she suddenly fell ill that day. The show was a sellout. The audience waited anxiously for the show to begin. The anchor announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the performance. The bad news is that the famous dancer is unwell, so she cannot perform. The good news is that another artist who is not famous, but she is a brilliant performer, will dance instead." The audience was obviously disappointed. The new artist gave a wonderful performance, yet no one applauded. A little son from the sidelines ran to the mic and exclaimed loudly, "Mommy, your performance was great. I love you." Overwhelmed, the audience joined the little boy in a deafening applause. Each one of us is a wonderful being. Encouragement will bring forth hidden talent and immense capacity in an individual. Telling others constantly that they are useless, stupid, and unimaginative only destroys any possibility of their improvement. But if we were to be encouraging and generous with our praise, chances are we would make others realize their potential. Encouragement involves a little loving effort, which will result in a very big difference in the life of others. A word of encouragement during a failure is worth more than an hour of praise after success. Page 25. Happy recipe. People are as happy as they decide to be. Rama's mother Kaushalya was very happy for her son when he was crowned heir to the throne of Ayodhya. On seeing this, Ram said to her, "Then how much happier will you be to know that I have been made king already?" When Kaushalya expressed surprise, Ram explained to her that his father had given him the kingdom of jungles. "As the king of Ayodhya, I would have been a thing on display. Now I will be a free bird in a jungle, enjoying life in nature, whereas the burden to rule Ayodhya will be on Bharat." It is not the behavior or attitude of others towards us that is important, but how we perceive and receive them. That is important. Happiness and sadness are the internal state of a mind. They do not depend on outer worldly circumstances. Life is 10% of what happens to us, and 90% is how we react to it. Happiness doesn't come from doing what we like to do, but from liking what we have to do. Page 26. Judgment. There was an old man in a village who had a beautiful white horse. Even the king was jealous of him. The king offered a fabulous price for the horse, but the man would say, "This horse is not a horse for me. He is a friend." "And how can you sell a friend?" The man never sold the horse. One morning he found that the horse was not in the stable. The whole village gathered and said, "You foolish old man, we knew that some day the horse would be stolen. It would have been better to sell it. What a misfortune." The old man said, "Don't go so far as to say that. Simply say that the horse is not in the stable. This is a fact Everything else is judgment. Whether it is misfortune or a blessing, I don't know. Who knows what is going to follow? People laughed at the old man, but after 15 days suddenly one night the horse returned. He had not been stolen, he had strayed into the jungle. Not only he returned, but he had also brought a dozen wild horses with him. Again the people gathered, and they said, "Old man, you were right. This was not a misfortune. It has indeed proved to be a blessing." The old man said, "Again you are going too far. Just say that the horse is back. Who knows whether it is a blessing or not? When we have read just a single sentence, how can we judge the whole book?" This time the people could not say much, but inside they knew that he was wrong. 12 beautiful horses had come. What a fortune! Page 27, Judgment Continued. The old man had an only son who started training the horses. Just a week later he fell from the horse and his legs were broken. The people gathered again and again. They judged. They said, "Again you proved right. It is a misfortune. Your only son is badly injured, and in your old age he is your only support." The old man said, "You're obsessed with judgment. Don't go that far. Say only that my son is injured." It happened that after a few weeks the country went to war, and all the young men of the town were forcibly taken for the military. Only the old man's son was left because he was injured. The whole town was crying and weeping because it was a losing fight, and they knew that most of the young people who went to war would never come back. They came to the old man and said, "You were right, old man. This has proved a blessing. Your son is injured, but he's still with you. Our sons are gone forever." The old man said again, "You go on and on judging. Only say this, that your sons have been forced to enter the army, and my son has not been forced. But only God knows whether this is a blessing or a misfortune. Do not judge, otherwise we will never become one with God. With small things we will jump to conclusions. Mind always wants judgment. Judgment means a stale state of mind. We are all playing the assumption game. In fact, the journey never ends. One path ends, another begins. One door closes, another opens. We reach a peak. A higher peak is always there. Let us simply stay in the flow of life. Let us live in the moment and give our best. Page 28, Quotable Quotes. Two people can look at the exact same thing and see something totally different. We see the world not the way it is, but the way we are. Let us look for the positive in every person and every situation. If we judge people, we have no time to love them. Everything in life has a beautiful ending. If it is not beautiful, then be sure it is still not ending. It is just the beginning. Page 29. Let us gift the book to everyone we love. Book is the bouquet full of life. Happiness is never perfect unless it's shared. The cost, blessings and good wishes. Books collected and edited by Messrs. Paradise Packaging Private Limited, 201 Guru Prabha Apartments, Sundarnagar, Senapati Bapat Marg, Dadar West, Mumbai 28. Telephone number 2433-4486. Fax 2438-5201. Email paradise@paradisepackaging.net. Dear reader, we shall appreciate your comments and suggestions on behalf of all of us at Paradise Packaging Private Limited. Nitin Babubhai Mehta. Page 30. Reaping the fruits. An old man was planting a mango sapling near his house. A group of young boys were passing by. On seeing this, they mocked at the old man and remarked, "Uncle, this mango sapling will take years to grow into a tree and bear fruit." The old man smiled and said, "I understand, and I may not be around to reap its fruit, but you can enjoy its fruits." The old man pointed at the mango tree near his house and remarked, "This tree was planted by my grandfather, and today I am reaping its fruit. The mangoes that you are enjoying today were planted by your grandfather. Quotable quotes: the future depends on what we do in the present. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. If we have vision for tomorrow, we will feed power and strength in our today. If an egg is broken with outside force, a life ends. But if it breaks from within, a life begins. Transformation always begins from inside. This is the simple way to happiness. Let us do it, but go to the temple to put flowers upon the feet of God. But first fill our own house with the fragrance of love. Go to the temple to light candles before God, but first remove the darkness of sin from our heart. Go to the temple and pray on bended knee, but first bend down to lift someone who is downtrodden. Go to the temple and ask for forgiveness for sins, but first forgive from the heart those who have sinned, and then move on in the life to spread fragrance of happiness. With this, I come to the end of this beautiful book, Simple Way to Happiness, Part 6, a collection of inspirational stories and poems. This book was read by Firdaus Aidanwala. Thank you for your kind attention, dear listeners. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed reading it out to you.